Let's be real. SUVs have taken over the world. Everywhere you look, it's another giant, bloated, gas-guzzling box on wheels clogging up the roads. Go to any dealership, and you'll notice something. Actual cars are disappearing, and sedans? Almost extinct. Wagons. You might as well be looking for a unicorn. Coupes? Forget about it. The car industry has officially sold its soul to the SUV. But why did this happen? And more importantly, why does nobody seem to care? Why they're killing the car industry, and why nobody is stopping them. So how did we get here? How did we go from a world where people actually drove compact cars, sedans, and coupes, to one where SUVs dominate every single market? Well, it all started in the 90s. Back then, SUVs were these big, rugged off-roaders built for people who actually needed them. Think Jeep Cherokee, Ford Explorer, Toyota Land Cruiser. They were meant for adventurers, not for picking up lattes at Starbucks. But then something happened. Car companies realized something huge. People loved the idea of driving something big. It made them feel safer. It gave them a better view of the road. And let's be honest, it made them feel superior. SUVs quickly stopped being about off-roading and started becoming family cars. Minivans were the go-to for hauling kids. But let's be honest, nobody wants to be a minivan driver. SUVs offered the same practicality, but with a cool factor. That was game over for sedans and wagons. Fast forward to the 2000s, and SUVs became the go-to vehicle for everybody. Automakers saw where the money was, and they went all in. Today, SUVs and crossovers make up over 50% of all new car sales, while actual cars barely hanging on. So what's the problem? If SUVs are so popular, why is that a bad thing? Well, for starters, they're killing actual cars. Let's talk about the death of sedans and coupes first. Car manufacturers don't care about what's cool or what enthusiasts love. They care about profits. And guess what? SUVs make way more money than sedans. The margins are higher, the production costs are similar, and people are willing to pay more for an SUV than they would for a sedan. Why would any car company continue making normal cars when they could just churn out SUVs and rake in the cash? Just look at Ford. A few years ago, they straight up killed almost every sedan they made. The Focus, the Fusion, the Taurus, all gone. The only car they sell now in North America is the Mustang. That's it. GM did the same thing, axing the Chevy Impala, Cruze, and Malibu. Even Dodge, the king of muscle cars, is turning the Charger into a freaking electric. And it's not just American automakers, the Japanese brands are going down the same road. Honda dropped the Accord Coupe. Toyota killed the Avalon. Nissan, the Maxima is dead. And sports cars? Good luck. The world doesn't have room for fun, affordable coupes anymore. It's all about SUVs, baby. Once upon a time, if you wanted an affordable, fun car, you had options. Now, the list is shrinking fast. The Nissan 370Z stuck around for 15 years because Nissan didn't want to invest in a new one. The affordable V8 muscle car, on life support. The Camaro is dead. The Charger and Challenger turned into electric crossovers. SUVs aren't just killing off good cars, they're killing off car culture. Think about it. What makes people love cars? The sound of a V8, the feeling of rowing through gears in a manual transmission, the precision of a well-tuned chassis. That used to be normal, but now, it's rare. The manual transmission? Dying. Fewer and fewer companies even bother offering them. Why? Because SUV drivers don't care. Lightweight, engaging cars? Gone. Everything is bigger, heavier, and slower. Even performance cars are bloated now. The new BMW M3 weighs 4,000 pounds. The Nissan Z, over 3,500 pounds. Affordable performance? Dead. Used to be that a young car enthusiast could go out and buy a fun rear-wheel drive car for a reasonable price. The Nissan 240SX, the E30 BMW, the Fox Body Mustang, all attainable, all exciting. Today, a used Toyota GR86 costs as much as a new one because demand is so high and supply is so low. Meanwhile, Dealerships are packed with SUVs that nobody actually wants, but have no other choice but to buy. But it's not just about what SUVs are replacing, it's also about what they're doing to the roads. First off, SUVs are massive. Even small SUVs today are the same size as full-size SUVs from the early 2000s. They take up more space in parking lots, they block visibility at intersections, and they make driving a compact car feel like you're in a go-kart dodging monster trucks. And then there's the weight issue. The average SUV today weighs between 4,000 and 6,000 pounds. Compare that to a typical sedan, which comes in at 3,000 to 3,500 pounds. Heavier vehicles mean more wear and tear on roads, worse fuel economy, and deadlier accidents. That's right. SUVs aren't actually making people safer. They're just making it more dangerous for everyone else. Studies show that pedestrians are more likely to die when hit by an SUV than a sedan, because the higher front end of an SUV hits people in the chest instead of the legs, causing fatal injuries. And for other drivers, getting hit by an SUV when you're in a smaller car is like getting tackled by an NFL linebacker. So yeah, SUVs might feel safer, but that's only because they've turned everything else on the road into a death trap. But what about fuel economy? Surely modern SUVs aren't as bad as the gas guzzlers of the early 2000s, right? Well, not exactly. Automakers love to slap hybrid and eco badges on SUVs to make them sound efficient. But the reality is, most SUVs are still terrible on gas. Even the so-called efficient ones are worse than the sedans they replaced. Take the GMC Hummer EV. This thing weighs over 9,000 pounds. That's the same as 3 Honda Civics. And guess what? Even though it's electric, it's still one of the least efficient EVs on the market, because it takes so much energy to move all that weight. The sad reality is, SUVs are making the shift to electrification harder than it needs to be. Instead of small, lightweight, efficient EVs, car makers are just giving us heavier, more bloated electric SUVs that need giant batteries and ridiculous amounts of power to go the same distance as a normal car. Car enthusiasts scream about it, but we're a tiny minority. The average buyer doesn't care about driving, they don't care about handling, weight balance, or performance. They just want a comfortable, high-riding box to get them from A to B. Automakers don't care. They're making more money than ever selling bloated SUVs instead of real cars. Why would they change? Regulators don't care. Instead of encouraging efficiency, they're just making everything more expensive and bloated. And dealerships? They'll sell you whatever they have on the lot, which, surprise, surprise, is a sea of SUVs. So what can we do? Honestly, not much. The SUV invasion is here to stay. But if you're a real car enthusiast, you can still fight back. Buy used sports cars, support companies that still care about making great cars, and don't settle for the same soulless, oversized garbage everyone else is driving. Because if we don't, in 10 years, there won't be any real cars left. That's the harsh truth about SUVs and the damage they're doing to the car industry. But what do you think? Are SUVs the worst thing to ever happen to cars, or am I just being dramatic? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.